A few months ago, there were a flurry of emulators that released onto the App Store for consoles ranging from the Game Boy to even the first PlayStation. You know that calculator you used in calculus class? Yeah, you can emulate that now too. Previously, if you wanted to play these old consoles on an iOS device, you had to resort to sideloading, which for the average person and consumer was a pain. Thanks to the EU pushing Apple to change the rules though, emulators like Delta and RetroArch can be easily downloaded from the App Store now. If you have an iPhone, you can download Delta and then play your favorite DS games, downloaded from totally legal websites. One of my previous videos showed me playing Delta on the Vision Pro, and it worked amazingly well, and I've since been playing a lot of Pokemon Platinum on it. It was a game I grew up on, so I get a lot of nostalgia playing it. A console that I have a similar soft spot for is the Nintendo 3DS, and I also love the Vision Pro, so today I want to combine the two and play the 3DS on the Apple Vision Pro. Installing Folium is straightforward, just going into the Vision Pro App Store and it's right there. Then it's time to load it up with totally legal 3DS ROMs, wink wink. There's no native Vision Pro version of Folium, this is just the iPad version, so the aspect ratio and the UI is going to be a little weird. So, here are the games I was able to test this emulator out with. Obviously, I'm not going to be showing you all of these, just the popular ones. I think you guys will be fine if I don't show you guys some riveting gameplay of LEGO Batman 2. Starting things off with Pokemon X, a game that I never really enjoyed playing ever since its release many years ago. Putting that aside though, here's the beautiful audio that I was graced with whenever starting a game up. Yeah, just how I remember it. I chose this one in particular since it's the first mainline Pokemon game to get 3D, and it was the first one on the 3DS, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for this emulator. And, as I guessed, it runs pretty well. Aside from some hiccups when going through towns and an annoying crash after fighting a stupid level 3 scatterbug, the game runs at the same speed as an actual 3DS, and I'd actually play it if it was a good game, of course. Folium is a pretty demanding emulator, so I had to change some of the settings to make this entire experience run better. To make it not look like a blurry pixelated mess, I increased the resolution factor, which helped a ton. The main feature on the 3DS is its 3D-ness. The Citra 3DS emulator on the Oculus Quest has the actual 3D effect, which was awesome to see and play it with. As I mentioned before though, this is just the iPad version of Folium, so the 3D settings here don't actually work. Shame, since I think it would have looked cool on here. Next up is Shovel Knight, and I would have been more surprised if it didn't run amazingly. Not much to note about this, just that this game is actually kinda fun, even if I felt like an IGN journalist throughout it. In terms of controls for this emulator, I'm using an Xbox controller connected via Bluetooth with ease. Unfortunately, the on-screen controls are stuck on with no way to disable it, but I tend to block it out while playing, especially when this game screen is this huge. It's also cool that I can rotate the app so that it kinda looks like a 3DS in terms of screen position. Anyways, fun game, made me rage a ton. After that is Animal Crossing New Leaf, a game that I checked out in detail on the MetaQuest Citra emulator 7 months ago, and now I'm checking it out on the Vision Pro. This game runs perfectly, minus some hiccups while running around. This was one of the first 3DS games I played, and I still remember the town I had on my real 3DS a decade ago. Unfortunately, it got corrupted when I committed the grave sin of homebrewing my 3DS, and my guess is that the Nintendo ninjas must have done it as a punishment, but who knows. But yeah, it's way more than playable, with the audio, latency, and gameplay all great. If I still had my save data that the Nintendo Ninja stole from me and could transfer here, then I would definitely play it more. The next game is the most intensive one on the 3DS. At least I think it is. I mean, I didn't bother looking it up, but it's definitely the most intensive Pokemon game on the 3DS, which is Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. As you can see, the game has frequent slowdowns and stutters, mainly in these larger areas like towns. In battle scenes and smaller areas like rooms, it runs buttery smooth. I remember after beating the original Pokemon Moon, I started to get exhausted of the Pokemon formula, and hot take here, I think Pokemon fell off with everything after Sun and Moon. I still hate how though, 100%. Overall, the game runs, but no one should have to play it like this with the rough slowdowns. Except for me, of course, since I'm making this video. I don't know about you, but I think that deserves a like and subscribe. And then, for the final two disappointments that I didn't think would be a disappointment at all, Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land. Mario Kart had egregious stutters during the cutscenes, and then when I tried starting the race, it just would crash. And this sucks since it's a fun game that I really enjoyed playing back in the day. Mario 3D Land was the first 3DS game that I ever played, but in the level select and especially especially in the world, the stutters are just unbearable. The footage just doesn't do it justice, I promise. In the end, if you have an Oculus Quest, then just play the Citra 3DS emulator that's on there. It must be pretty good 7 months after I posted my original video. If you have a Vision Pro though, then check Folium out. The best part about using this one is that you can have these beautiful environments, change the size of the screen, and watch your favorite YouTuber right next to it. Anyways, that's all for today. Make sure to like and subscribe for more IGN journalist footage just like this one. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and take care.